Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. This is my first YouTube live, so if there's kinks, I apologize. But I'm excited to get rolling here and share what we're doing, why we're doing it. Maybe I need to set some context. So I guess to set the context, the situation that I see is a lot of SaaS is built with kind of SaaS conventional dashboards and UX, right? You go in, you click a button, you enter a screen, you talk to a thing maybe, and it does a thing and it returns it, right? And that's kind of like what we built with Outlier so far. And I'm going to walk through the existing UI in a minute and kind of talk about the problem that we're solving. I'm going to show some inspiration that I get from other AI native tools that we all kind of use and know and love. And then we're just going to kind of make the old UI like the AI first UI. Cool. So welcome. Again, it's my first it's my first live stream, so I'm going to manage the chat as best I can. Pop a question in the chat if you have questions, but we're going to go and just get rolling. And I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to show you kind of what we have so far, so we can start developing towards what we want to do. Cool. So let's see. Let's see. I'm going to share. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's pop this out into a separate tab, and then let's share. Cool. Okay. So here in the Outlier dashboard, and so if y'all just haven't seen it yet, Outlier is our newest SaaS at Castos, and the idea here is it helps YouTube creators come up with better ideas, because the idea is really the thing that catapults your channel to success, right? It lets you go viral, have bigger hits, and just succeed, grow, likes and subscribers and followers. A lot of people just have bad ideas, unfortunately, with YouTube. And so we help people come up with better ideas and then do packaging, so title and thumbnail, to get the clicks and to have folks stay, right? So ideas and execution all in one. So that's the promise of Outlier. And the problem that we have is, if you come in here, this is a pretty conventional SaaS dashboard, right? It has idea of channels, right? So you add your channel. It has a pipeline concept, so kind of like a Kanban board here that lets you organize your work, right? And so this is I'm just running on local, and for some reason, really super slow this morning. I'm not sure why, but you can see I just have ideas here. I'm scripting, I'm recording, all that. This interface, this is fine. We'll probably replace this kind of concept too, because if you think about how you work with an agent, you don't want to come in here and click this and move it from this tag to this tag and stuff. So the agent will manage this going forward. The two areas that I think are still valid to have are titles, right? So you want to come up with titles, and the workflow kind of currently does this, hey, describe what's going on here. And if you have a video in the pipeline, it will create this, and it'll create title ideas for you. You can see kind of some of the titles that we've generated here, and kind of similar with thumbnails, right? Packaging is title and thumbnails on YouTube, and so thumbnails using Gemini Nano Banana to create these. And the idea here is we, based on the video description and the title that we generated, will generate a couple of thumbnail options for you, so you can kind of see, so you can, make more money, right? All this kind of stuff, right? And so, and this is cool because you can come in and you can edit these, and you can just talk to it and it edits this. So that's all really cool. The thing that I think we need to work on is the coming up with ideas, which is really the essence of the product, right? Is if you have bad ideas, the title and thumbnail don't matter, because you're just never going to get a lot of views and subscribers. And this is the page that we're going to revamp. And this page kind of just sucks, right? Admittedly, you come in here as a new user. I did a podcast episode with a friend yesterday who's been our designer and product person at Castos for a long time. And he was like, man, I just this is where do I start? What do I do? This is probably the best part down here, and it's at the bottom. And we kind of came to hey, this should just be a chat bot, right? This should just be a chat interface. And I pulled up Twin. I don't know if you guys saw Twin.so. Like they just raised like $1 bajillion, French company, for like automation. And so we want to build an interface kind of like this. And this is just the same as ChatGPT, right? It's the same as Claude. These are all the same, right? These are all basically the same interfaces. You open it up, you have a sidebar, and you have a chat. The one thing that I want to take away is I like this idea of suggestions down here. And so the suggestions bit that we might kind of borrow from this convention, and a lot of these have these, right? Like this one has, I want to brainstorm ideas, but you can imagine it has these pills, I guess you would call it, for different things that people want to do. And the analogous part to that is we have different ways we generate ideas. And so these could all just be the pills underneath the chat. Cool. So I'm just going to pause here, folks. Watching the live stream, can you hear me? Can you follow? You see what I'm seeing on the screen? I just want to vibe check. Everybody cool? Just want to make sure y'all can kind of see and hear okay. All good. I'm gonna take a sip of water and then we're going to get building this because that's the cool part, but I just want to provide the context of like why we're here and what we're doing first. Cool. Awesome. So I'm going to, so now that we have the context of like what we want to do, I'm going to open up our Claude code because that's kind of how we're doing this. And we're going to start building. So I'm going to share so I use Claude code in a terminal emulator called Ghosty. I got this from Alex Finn. He's using this these days, and I just really like it. I can have multiple terminals running here. I have like the dev server running here. I have Claude code running here. I'm interviewing some folks later. So I have a Claude code project for that's like as a co-founder, and I have a second brain, and that's running over here. But for this one, we have the outlier project running on develop branch. And so I have a couple of slash commands. So if I run slash, we have like release for a production release, sync for after production to merge back to develop, create a release PR, bug fix or feature. So we're going to build a feature and we're going to call this idea agent mode. And we'll just say create a branch and switch to it. And the slash command should do this, but I just like to be explicit. Okay, so it's going to create a branch off of develop, which is just our get workflow, and is going to switch to that branch. So in the meantime, I'm going to grab a screenshot, I think, of Claude, because I think this is pretty much like what we want to do. So I'm just going to grab a screenshot here. Over here, do you want to do this? Yes, I want to do that. And we're just going to drag this screenshot into this, and you can see it's referencing this. This is a big, it's a big upgrade. So I do Command-Shift-4 on my Mac to do a screenshot, and then it kind of pops it in the bottom right corner, and I just drag it in. Cool. And so now we want to enter plan mode, and we're just going to talk to the computer about what we want to see. The current version of the ideation page is really difficult to understand because we have multiple pages that people can go on and paths they can go down to create an idea for their video on the channel. And I think this is a really fragmented and confusing user experience. I want to replace that page and all of the sub pages with a chat experience. And I'm including a screenshot of Claude, which I'm sure you know. And I want this to be the first interaction that people have when they land on the slash ideation page. And I want them to be presented with a chat interface with pills below it, similar to how Claude has. And the pills are analogous to the pages that we have, like the gap identifier or analyze a video or extract a winning formula from a bookmarked video that I have on my page. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna replace all those subpages with pills, which are kind of like prompt starters, and we're gonna replace the whole ideation page with a chat interface. And this is how people will create video ideas for their channel. Cool. So just natural language, right? So I included a link to the screenshot and a pretty verbose description of what I want. I'm in plan mode and we'll just fire this off, right? And we'll fire this off and we'll kind of see what it comes up with, right? And so in plan mode, and we're using Opus 4.5. I'm on the Pro Max 20 plan, the $200 a month plan. And I'll tell you, I have not gotten close to to maxing this out. I usually run at about 15% of capacity, so I probably should lower it down to the $100 a month plan. But I just like I just like having the peace of mind that like I can use as much as I want and I don't have to worry about getting in trouble with like usage limits or anything like that. Coincidentally, while this is talking, I'd love to hear, are y'all using I, Maltbot, Claudebot, whatever it's called? Are y'all using that at all? I'd love to hear how you're using it, what you're using it for, and what models you're using. Speaking of like usage and stuff, like I definitely have heard that using it with your Claude Code subscription is against the terms of service. I saw on Twitter a place where people like got their Claude Code accounts banned. And so that's bad. I'm running mine on Kimi K2.5 right now, and I like it a lot. It gives some issues every once in a while. And so like I'm running it on a laptop and I have laptop over here. I'm trying to switch to Gemini 3, which is a good, like it's an overall really good model. I think that's what Gemini 3 Flash, that's what you use when you go to like just like gemini.google.com by default. So I'm trying to get it to switch over here and I've been at it all morning and it's just like, it just keeps throwing up. So I'm not sure if that's not supported or if y'all have any experience, but would love to hear what y'all are using there. So y'all have used Claude Code, I'm sure. And this is kind of a typical thing is like you go and you give it a bunch of input and it's going to create this, plan, right? And it's using two different agents to explore AI and chat patterns, probably not just across my application, but just in general. And then wanting to understand the current context of the situation. So that's cool. Let's see. Stefan says we use it similarly. Funny thing is we do code reviews in the planning stage now and then write tests, then implement. Yeah, that's cool. That's that's like a baller move. I I think the place I want to get better at with Claude Code driven development as a non-technical person is having more structure in place. Like I mentioned, the slash commands. I want more structure in place and more uh, more opinionation, it to be more opinionated about how we do development. So that's something I'm working on. I'm working on with someone on kind of creating a really robust set of kind of skills, I guess, for that. Cool. So for the chat backend, should messages stream token by token like Claude does, or return the full response once? Yeah, we should stream, right? That's like the natural thing. Cool. Should conversations persist in the database so users can revisit past ideation chats? Yep. What should the pill prompt starters map do based on the current subpages? I see these candidates. Yep. So all right. So if we, let's see, I'm just going to go back to the current page and just go back to the current page. So what it's saying is like, should each pill basically fire off the functionality of each of these? And I would say yes. The one exception being like AI ideas is kind of a repository right now of ideas generated from bookmarked videos. So I don't think that we need to do that as well. So let's just go back to our Claude Code instance. Cool. And let's just clarify a little bit. So discover by topic, analyze the video, competitor gaps, winning formulas, and save bookmarks. Yeah, so that's what we want. Yep. Should we keep the existing sub pages accessible or fully remove them and redirect the chat? I think redirect. I think we're going to just remove and redirect. The issue is, I wonder about um, users that have existing information and how they can access it. I would like to remove and redirect it, but I'm a little uncertain as to how existing users, we don't have many because we're very early, how existing users can access their existing ideas. So maybe we need just a thing in the left sidebar where people can access existing ideas that they generated, regardless of which page it came from. So maybe the answer is remove and redirect the existing sub pages, but the results of ideas they generated, regardless of how they were generated, should be accessible somewhere. Cool. And I think one of the biggest things with Claude Code of late, and you saw it on that before, is like you have the regular options like before, you can chat something to it, or you can kind of like escape the path that you're on there and just chat, like re-enter plan mode. And we might do that. We might do that at this point. Like it'll come up with a plan here. And this is a pretty big feature, like implementing, like taking out the core UX of a page and re-implementing it with something new is not something I take lightly. So like we are on a feature branch, like if this just explodes and is terrible, we can just like delete it, right? And like nothing has happened here. So like here, I worry like it's exploring the sidebar and layout. Like what I don't want it to be doing here is I don't want it to think that what we're going to want it to do is add video ideas here. Like that's not what we want. Like what I want is ideation will be a chat page, and within this chat page, we'll have like at the bottom maybe just like existing ideas as like a pen, if you will. So if you imagine like in Claude here, so you could see like your all your chats. Oh, that's not a good example. Maybe ChatGPT is a better example where it has this sidebar, right, and all this stuff just populates automatically. Like maybe that's the kind of pattern I'm going for. So we'll see. So let's go back and see what. Okay, cool. So Claude Code is almost done with its plan. Let's pull this up. Okay, so question from Stefan here. How did you call the features being replaced by prompt starters? I have not heard a name for that pattern. So much new technology. How did you call the features being replaced by prompt starters? Yeah, good question. So I think what Stefan's asking is like currently it's like a UX thing. Like you go into this page and you do a thing. We're going to need to create functions or prompts or something to go from the chat when a user says something with natural language to execute the kind of functionality that's happening in the UX right now. Yeah, great question. I don't know, and hopefully the plan that Claude Code generates here will consider that because it should like it. I think it understands because it asked this question. Like it knows those pages are going away, so we're going to have to replace that functionality somehow. But that's a really good one. So I'm not sure how we're going to do that. I would guess it would just do it with like a combination of prompting and some kind of harder coded logic. Based on like the pill. The pill would be like a prompt starter, like, hey, we're going to go do this thing down this path. But I don't know. I don't know, and we'll see. And I think that that's like at a higher level, like that's kind of just how I believe development is going. Like I don't really know. I don't really know the answer. Like someone described development to me as like it's like putting together a puzzle where you're making the pieces as you go. And that like makes sense. Like from building this, I agree. I guess the difference is like I don't need to know how to make the pieces. I just need to know what the puzzle needs to look like in the end. So I guess like the details of exactly how it's going to work, I don't need to come up with those. Claude Code is going to come up with them. I need to verify they're right so that when we put the pieces together, the puzzle looks like what I want it to look like. And yeah, so Stefan, like what we're talking about with pill, it's just I don't know if that's like a proper UX term, but or UI term, but a pill would be like in Claude. Um, these I think are called pills. So these would be like prompt starters. I want to generate an idea from the bookmark. I want to analyze my competitors' channels. I want to search by topic, right? And it would kind of plop in a beginner prompt or a starting prompt, and kind of set the user down the path. That's what I have in mind. Cool. Okay, so I have good context of how to finalize the plan. Let me write it now. Cool. Okay, so Claude is scurrying currently and is kind of down this path. Let's go check out what it has going on. Do y'all refer to Claude as a him or her or an it? Just curious. I don't know. I refer to it as an it more often. Although talking about Maltbot or Claude bot, mine is definitely a female. Call her Janet. Janet's definitely broken right now, like all sorts of broken, and I find that about half the time. I find about half the time Janet's broken. Yeah, so I think Claude bot or Maltbot now, which like, gosh, I love, like, I respect so much someone developing an open source project like that and maintaining it. Like we have open source project at Castos and our WordPress plugin, and it's awesome. But man, it's a lot of work to maintain open source. Jean Claude, yeah, that's great. Okay, cool. Let's see what we got here. So this, like, to me, at a process perspective, this is a pretty typical amount of work I put into creating a plan for a this is a medium-sized feature to me. Um, and this is about the amount of plan that Claude Code gives me. So I'd love to hear if y'all kind of see a typical thing. Database, okay, so new chat conversations. Yep, cool. And chat messages tables with RLS. Great. Row level security. This is the Next.js TypeScript app. So row level security is super important. Extract existing business logic into tool modules, simple streaming SSE endpoint using Anthropic's native tool use pattern. Cool. Claude like chat UI with welcome screen and prompt starter pills streaming text. Yep, cool. Okay, I'm not going to read this whole thing out loud. Great. Remove 5 old subpages, permanent redirect, keeps ideas library page. Cool. So what will happen is we'll generate ideas and it will plop them into this page. That's cool. Okay, so I'm just going to scan through this, and y'all just scan through it too, and we'll kind of see replace the current page. Yep, pre-filled user first message to hint at intent, but Claude can use any tool at any point in the conversation. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yep, business logic. Great. So, and I think this was to the question of like, how do we get the chat to do the things the pages did? That's the business logic. Using the SDK. Great. Database migration, users, user ID, conversation ID. Yep. Yep. Sounds good. So these are the kind of main pages. So discover based on search, gap analysis based on the competitors, and formulas are kind of to abstract a video idea into a repeatable formula that could apply to another channel. So that's cool. So streaming, I just assume that's all good. Front end, yep. Chat rewrite, sidebar. Okay, so when on ideate, expand the ideation nav items to show new chat ideas library. Oh, okay, cool. So that's cool. So I think what they're, so you could have a new chat and you could have existing ideas. You should be able to access previous chats as well. So that's cool. That's a good UX because we don't have unlimited real estate here. We want to make sure we're that we're kind of doing what we want. Remove old subpages and redirects. Phase 7, conversation specific routes. Um, yep, let's make it. Cool. So, yeah, I mean, so we're 25 minutes into this live stream, and it's about the amount of time I would spend. I give a bit of preamble on kind of setting the context. That's always just good, right? In general. Um, and I might have had a chat with Claude, regular Claude in the browser about this to kind of see what it thought, to help me flush out any things that I might have missed, things like that. But like this is mostly just a refactoring of UI. We're not changing a lot of backend functionality aside from like introducing the concept of a chat interface. So I would call this a medium-sized feature for me. And I mean, the amazing thing is like this is a medium-sized feature, and it'll be done in an hour and a half. Like we'll have to test it and stuff, but like building it will take an hour, which is amazing. I mean, it's a week's worth of work at least for a mortal, right? And we're doing it in an hour, which is pretty cool. So it's going through. It's got the really robust plan up here. Now it's going through and reading all this. It will create a checklist, and again, checklist in terms of like scope. Checklists. I've never seen a checklist more than 10 items. So I think this is your kind of like harder patterns that Claude has or Claude Code has built in, to where like it just kind of like the scope of its capacity can only get to 10 checklist items. Um, and I guess this is a question for y'all. Is like I was talking to someone the other day. I was like, I like back to I've never spent my Claude Code plan. Like I have a hard time building enough product to use Claude Code 24/7, like some people are talking about, and spend all of my tokens. So curious for y'all like watching, like, are you are you like are you maxing out your plan all the time and you need more on like $100 or $200 a month plan? And if so, like, what are you using all your tokens on? I know that like Playwright uses a lot of tokens. Playwright being like kind of browser automation. Uses a lot of tokens. We use Playwright to check front end stuff sometimes, and we use Playwright for end to end tests. So the end to end tests will use Playwright to emulate what like a user would do in the browser. So that those are the only ways that we use Playwright. End to end tests run for us when we create a production PR to merge develop into main for like a production release. Those end to end tests run there, and so we use Playwright in that respect, but that's kind of it. So I'd love to hear, like, I'd love to get more out of my Claude Code subscription and use more tokens, but I don't know. And I feel guilty. I'm like, gosh, I'm like leaving money on the table because I'm not using my whole plan, but I'm leaving opportunity on the table too because I'm not using the tool as much as I could, and I feel like I use it a lot. So, anyways, back to what Claude Code is doing here. Yep. So creating a task list, just like I said. Um, so creating database migrations for chat tables, cool. Extract tool functions for chat agent, create system prompt for streaming chat API, build chat UI components, rewrite ideate page layout, sidebar and redirects, build lint and check. So 6 items, so not even 10. And again, this is like a pretty big plan. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Um, I would suppose this will take about 15 minutes. Um, and while this is working, I want to share one other tool that I'm using. So it's already in phase 2, right? Like this is just going to not take very long. Oh, interesting. In a discussion, Drizzle. Does anybody use Drizzle? I want to. So we need to start using Drizzle, I think, was the consensus from chatting with a friend. Drizzle ORM. So Drizzle being a way to manage database schema and migrations, was strongly recommended to use this the other day. And what it does is just like keeps track of all your database schema updates and migrations so that you as a developer know like what the heck is going on here. because for me, like I just Claude Code has MCP to Supabase and just applies the migrations. Always have to remember to apply them to staging and to production. And so, if you're using something like Drizzle, you should just get that in a more systematic way. And again, kind of back to systems, like I think I need a system for database migrations. So I'm always having to tell Claude Code, make sure you run this in staging, run the MCP command for Supabase in staging and in production. So Drizzle should take care of that. I just haven't implemented it yet. I just learned about this 2 days ago, really. And the other structure, ShipKit. So I talked to Brandon on my podcast, and he has a lot of kind of structure and process around how to create TypeScript apps specifically. And so this is what I'm working on implementing is some of the structure and bringing the structure from his ShipKit template set and rule set really into my application to use it. So stay tuned. Definitely interested in seeing how this helps me develop with a little more structure and rigidity, because we went from like just slinging code to like we have customers now and we have data to manage and we have payments and things like that. So like shit's getting real and need to act accordingly, right? Need to act like a grown-up developer and manage things properly. So check out ShipKit. It's great, and it has a lot of the structure that I think we're all kind of looking for if you're building TypeScript and Next.js apps. Yeah, so this is Twin. So I created this the other day, and what I'm using this for so far is I said for marketing for Outlier, I said I want to let's just walk through this. I want to create a $3 million a year SaaS app in the next 24 months. And it said, that's great. Here are high leverage marketing agents that you can do. These were the ones. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. It didn't understand what I wanted to do. And so I gave it this. It gave me these suggestions. And I said, the viral trend spotter, this one here, is what I want to do. I said, cool. Where do you want to create your content? And I said Twitter, just because like AI creating content for YouTube would be hard. That would be cool. That's like super meta, but that would probably be pretty tough. Cool. And I just checked on Claude Code. It's chugging away. It's doing its thing. It's not asking me for anything yet. And so I was like, go put it on autopilot. And it's running. So even just running right now, we fire daily at 9 a.m. It'll connect to X, scan the creator, make marketing space, draft tweets, post them. You'll be able to see what's posted after each run. So that's what happened, but nothing has fired yet. So I'm not really sure. Interface, task, memory, trigger, apps. These guys launched kind of virally. They kind of went viral on Twitter. So I'm not sure if they're having task started, memory updated, task completed. I wonder what happened here. Agent finished with no messages. So like something about this didn't work. Used 4 credits. So, something about this didn't work. I'm not really sure. Cool. So Claude Code is chugging away. It's doing its thing. I guess the one other thing I want to share that I'm looking at is Agent Zero. I don't know if y'all have used Agent Zero. I think in general, definitely see agents as the future. We're seeing this already, right? So this is not like rocket science. But as a lot of us have seen Multibot as a personal AI assistant, I kind of see Agent Zero as it's open source, right? So that's cool, as a way to deploy multi-agent swarms, if you will, for your business. So I'll have a video on this because I want to spin one up. I'm thinking of doing this, creating an automated trading system. We'll see how fast I lose my money, but you can imagine, right? Like, I want you to just go through and analyze a bunch of financial data, find a way to trade something really fast, like crypto or Polymarket. And like I've seen on Twitter, people making a bunch of money with this. I think it would be cool. I think it would be a cool experiment. um, to kind of see just how this works. So that would be interesting. Haven't played around with this. I have a project I kind of started working on, and I'm probably not going to pursue it just because I think it's like Agent Zero already is a great multi-agent platform. But you can imagine connecting Multbot to Agent Zero to have Multbot be your kind of single source of truth in that massive knowledge base, and then it would spawn separate sub-agents. So it might work on kind of combining these two. That's kind of the idea I had with what I called Maestro, which is like it's kind of the best of both worlds. But the best of both worlds already exists, and they're both free and open source. So it's like, gosh, that's tough to compete with. I do think that someone will create. Um, I do think that someone will create a hosted version of this, and they might, right? Like if these guys want to make money, they'll just create an open or a hosted kind of closed version of this, and make a ton of money because a bunch of people want to do this. But I mean, it's reasonably technical. Like I mean, I'm reasonably technical, and I have a good second computer that I can run this on, and still like I get tripped up here. So. Um, Cool. So Claude Code is humming away here. It's doing its thing. Let's just check in on what's going on over here. Um, just want to make sure y'all can see. Oop, that didn't work now. Okay. Sorry. Um, yep. Okay. So this is chugging along, right? Created database migrations for the chat tables, extracted tool functions for the chat agent. That's all working great. And so now it's creating system prompt and streaming chat API. So we can stream chats to Anthropic and persist to the database. That's cool. We'll build the chat UI components, rewrite the ideation page, layout, sidebar, and redirects, and then build and lint. So in 30 minutes, we've like made a lot of progress. I would suppose this is halfway done at this point, which is pretty solid. Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna take a 2-minute break to get some water. Y'all fill up your coffee. It's 9:30 here on the East Coast. Y'all fill up your coffee. I'll be back in 2 minutes, and we should be kind of well on our way to this thing being done. So we'll be back like 2 minutes. Okay. I just realized that we that I was showing the top part of my desk there for a few minutes. Oh my gracious. Okay. Let's see. If I hit end here, what happens? Oh no. Okay. You know what? We'll just stay here and we'll keep the party going. Okay, so back to what is going on in Claude Code. So we're entering phase 4, the chat UI components. Um, so it's checking the UI primitives are available, like shadcn, shadcn being a UI library. And it's going to use this. So we have similar kind of styling and stuff across all of them. I'm going to switch back to the application quick just to share something that I literally just learned yesterday that I think is worthwhile for everybody is around like component based styling. And the feedback, like if I go to light mode, you can see this a little better here. The feedback is like, yo, you have rounded edges on your on your field input here with a square button. And the other is like you have this font here, and then you have this font up here in the logo. And so it's like, hey, create components and rules around the components from a UI perspective to have consistency across it, right? So like the border radius, which is the term to make this rounded or not, should be the same for field inputs and cards. Like we have cards further down, I think, or even images, like how we're cropping images and cards. Like border radius should be the same across all of them. So just something to share. Cool. I'm going to take 2 minutes. I'm going to get some water. I'm going to get some more coffee because I need it. We'll be back in 2 minutes to see where Claude Code is, and we'll rock on from there. Okay. Uh, oh, connection is unstable. It's no bueno. Hmm. Connection unstable. I'm not sure if folks can hear me, but we're just going to assume everything is okay. Um, hmm. Um, Gracious. Okay, y'all, we're gonna call it here. Sorry, I'm having trouble. I'm not really sure. Maybe like the terminal emulator takes up a ton of memory sometimes. I think that might be the case. Is like this is a pretty long, intensive session, and it's kind of throwing up. That might be it. It might be that my internet is crapping out. I'm not really sure, but we'll call it here for today. I hope this is helpful. I mean, this is most of it, right? From here, it's just like we're gonna iterate and kind of tweak on what we've built to just make it better. But I hope this is helpful in showing kind of how I go about designing and implementing a new feature. Would love to know what y'all think. If you're able to, I don't know if you can leave comments after live stream, but would love to see kind of like how y'all think about this and what I might be missing that we can all kind of level up together with. If you'd like to check out Outlier, it's outlier.so. If you want to start winning on YouTube, better ideas, better titles, better thumbnails, better packaging, so you can publish more high quality content, check it out.